welcome everybody to the another town hall meeting of UIC Jamaica. I'm the Patterson president. Today we hope to have a very nice and relaxed session where we share with you a bit about the UIC and what our plans are for Jamaica, and take it to allow you to ask us questions and to answer your questions. And then at the end of the day, we will all would have had to learn more about each other and how we can work together to further the objective of creating a new and better Jamaica. At this point, let me try to acknowledge all the persons on at the moment. It appears we have 6 participants. Yeah. So we have Paulette McKenzie, Vice President of UIC.
I'm here.
We also have Winston.
Present.
Yeah, who is a Vice President of the UIC. And we have Janet, who is Membership Director of the UIC. And then we have Devon Thompson, who's hiding on the screen, which also says Janet, who's also a Vice President. Here's an iPhone on the list. Madam or Mr. iPhone, could you identify yourself?
Mute. Hi, this is Dr. Andre Jones on the iPhone.
Wonderful, Dr. Jones. Next time, type in your name so I can see it clearly.
I'm actually trying to switch over to my computer.
But it's not working. Okay, all right.
Oh, I need to be let in, it says.
Oh, okay. Somebody let in Dr. Jones for me on his computer so he can log off from his iPhone and we'll see his name. There we go. You can disengage the other one.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. We lost Camille. And now I'm hearing a feedback. So I think somebody needs to turn off a secondary device. All right, wonderful. I noticed this month we did not advertise the virtual town hall meeting until I think, is it yesterday, Devon?
Yeah, it was.
Right. So we're not seeing too many persons signing on. I know I expect. I saw Natalie earlier on. I guess she might have dropped off with technology issues. And I expect Nkrumah Green from St. Thomas to be joining us. He had followed up on us for the link. I see Kevin going on. Right, so while we're here and we're waiting for others, and we all know about the UIC here already, so I don't have to go through the spiel about what the UIC is and do any introductions. Since we have Dr. Andre as the newest person on the block, I will allow him to just go straight into any or questions or comments he wants to share with us when he contemplates the UIC, think about what we're trying to do, suggestions he might have, and then we can have a discussion with him and others who join the forum later on if we have a good attendance. As I said, we didn't and remind people of the virtual town hall, which is unfortunate. But we'll do better next time. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, wonderful. Looks like I'm enjoying some dancehall music over there.
Yeah, man, moving through far. Sorry.
All right. So, Dr. Andre, why don't you for us? And you're a man of many and thoughts and all of that. You and I have had some discussions which we haven't had a chance. But feel free to raise anything here. You're among friends. All the people on this call are staunch UIC supporters. They believe in them and they subscribe to all the tenets of the movement and what we stand for.
I just want to step away for 1 second and then come right back. One
No
second.
problem.
Okay.
I was saying perhaps Dr. Jones should give us a bit of his background, who he is, so that the persons are listening will know a little bit about him.
Well, I thought all of us here met him before. He was on the last.
No, but we are on live, so there are some people who will be meeting him for the first time.
Oh, you're right. Yes, my apologies. You're so right. You said that's why you're a vice president, Paulette Mackenzie Williams. And just for our viewers to know, Paulette is like my opposition leader. She challenges everything, make sure that we cross the T's and dot the I's on every single policy she can. And even if she go away for a month, come back, she's going to have something to challenge and say, well, what about this? And have you considered that? And this look, if you don't say that, you in this. So I really love her and hate her at the same time. So thank you, Paulette. You're the best. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, man. Before we allow you to talk, Dr. Jones, let me just welcome Dr. Robert Kerr. Dr. hails from Kingston up in the hills of Portland there. I had the of trying out the Blue Mountain retreat or something like that. That was quite an excursion, an outdoor experience that I would encourage anyone who are up to the hike and up to the outdoor living to give it a try. Welcome, Dr. Carr. Dr. Kerr, are you there? Oh, you wrote in the comment section, so it's just Robert Kerr, doctor. No problem. I won't call you doctor again, Dr. Kerr. Welcome, Reggie. I see Reggie is joining us as well.
I thought I saw Dr. Arville a while ago as well.
Oh, I didn't see him, but
No?
9 persons here, so I'm seeing 9 on the screen at the moment.
There's a Reggie on the screen or in the
Hi.
group.
Yeah. Hey, Reggie.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Good, good. Well,
Good. Welcome. Good to see you.
What was that, Paulette?
That was Paulette.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
the two you know each other personally?
You said what?
Do you know personally, Reggie?
I've never met her, but I've spoken to her, and I actually I dropped off something for her.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So, but you didn't tell me how the fellow you're talking to.
Wait,
Say what?
say it again.
So, Paul, if you didn't tell me I have another fellow you're talking to, I didn't know you know, right?
Well, the thing is, Mr. Patterson, it's just one of those things you meet for a little while, so it's not a long talk. So I could never reported it at that point.
Okay, I see.
No, we actually haven't met. Well, I mean, on the phone.
Yeah, we just spoke on the phone. Hi, Reggie. Hi again.
Hi. Okay. Where's Andre?
Reggie, I put legs like that. I need to
Yeah, man.
all the things that are fishing around our UIC ladies. I have to make sure I know what's going on.
That's a good one. Yes, sir.
So I know. All right. So we were just about to have Dr. Andre Jones share with us a little about himself because I wanted him to ask us some questions. He's a deep thinker and somebody who has given some thought to what the UIC to do. And I've had some discussions with him to give him an opportunity to ask some questions of us. But Paul, it reminded me we have a number of persons seeing us for the time on other platforms. Is that correct, Devon?
Yes,
Devon, you're
we're live right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and I've been having trouble getting on Instagram. So we're not live on Instagram right now. Just those
Okay,
three platforms. Yes.
all right. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Let me take this opportunity then to once again welcome our viewers around the world, wherever you are. This is Independence Congress, Jamaica's first new registered political party. So the two old ones are there, but we're the first new registered party in Jamaica, United Independence Congress. You can find us on our website at uicjamaica.com. And of course, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as well, and Twitter also. My name is Joseph Patterson, the president and founder. The UIC came into existence, registered party in December of 2019. But our genesis began after I went to Jamaica in 2011. Spent 2 years getting myself reacquainted with the country, having been in Canada for a while before that. During those 2 years, I was most disappointed with where we were as a country, and I had a full understanding at that point as to why we were there. And I was very convinced that there's no way that the existing parties and the existing system would make Jamaica the kind of country that we can all enjoy safely and peacefully and prosperously. And so I thought of the UIC, I thought of the systems and solutions we could put in place, and I started talking with other Jamaicans at home and abroad. And over the course of a number of years, we got to where we are today. Hopefully tonight, after you have listened to some of what we have to say, you too will join the many Jamaicans who have decided that enough is enough and we want a new and a better Jamaica. So welcome. I'm going to ask our vice presidents to briefly introduce themselves for about tell you where they're located, what aspect of the country they're focused on in terms of their vice presidential roles, and wish about themselves so you can get a flavor for each of us. And we will go into a little bit about the policies of the UIC after we entertain questions from all on different platforms, and we'll try to answer them over the next 1.5 hours. So let's begin with Vice President Mackenzie Williams. Paulette.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening again. I am Paulette Mackenzie Williams, Vice President for the County of Surrey. And of course, Surrey has 4 parishes: Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, and Portland. My responsibility primarily, apart from assisting the organization to find candidates for Surrey, I also have a responsibility in finance. So fundraising and financial matters regarding the UIC is under my portfolio. I was attracted to the UIC because of the fundamental principles of freedom, the sovereignty of individuals, protecting each person's right, liberty, and property equally, having a government that is not so intrusive, not trying to take away all our freedoms and allow us to make decisions for ourselves that we rightfully can. And of course, we have a capitalist thrust. Our thrust is a free market economy, one that regulates our, push back against government intrusions and government overreach. So that's one of the main reasons that I'm interested and became a part of the UIC. It's a lot of things for us to do, but we recognize and we believe that it is necessary for the UIC to be in Jamaica at this point in time. It is very important for us to reach the Jamaican people who have become disaffected and is no longer interested in the politics of Jamaica. The truth of the matter is, as a people, we have to be interested. We have to look about what's happening in the governance of Jamaica because it affects all of us. And we can see the various areas in Jamaica that have been just terribly governed. Our crime and our violent situation in Jamaica is one that is of great concern to all of us. The poverty in Jamaica is of great concern to all of us. And so as a Jamaican, I could not any longer stay away from the process that requires each and every Jamaican to be participating in the development of Jamaica. So the UIC is that organization for me that is able to realize those dreams that I have for Jamaica. So welcome to the UIC's Town Hall meeting. We do this on a monthly basis, and we're hoping that we can galvanize Jamaicans to walk with us as we together change and bring a new Jamaica. Thank you very much, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Paulette Mackenzie Williams, for that very lovely introduction to yourself and the cause as well. I'm now going to invite Winston Wright, Mr. Winston Wright, our Vice President, one of our Vice Presidents himself, and share with us thoughts.
Good evening, Mr. Patterson. Good evening, everyone joining us on all our social media pages and everyone joining us on Zoom this evening. As Mr. Patterson said, my name is Winston Wright. I am Vice President for the County of Cornwall, which is basically the western region of Jamaica. I hail from Westmoreland, born, raised, lived, traveled and somewhat migrated and is back, and just as disaffected as any well-thinking Jamaican as to one, our economic situation, two, our social situation, and most importantly, our economic situation. Being a parent, I consider it my duty to raise and protect my kids from all things, including the current mismanagement of our country, the drive towards a blind welfare state that seek to create politicians that are demigods in our lives and direct us and control us in ways on that even the Lord Almighty intended, as He has given us free will. And for that reason, the true role of government has been lost to us. As a matter of fact, I am disaffected by the very tail of our existence from independence to now, because it has been nothing but a great farce perpetrated on the people, where we were victim of circumstances before slavery, after independence, onwards to this day, and the $2 trillion debt that Jamaica now will shoulder on every child born into this country this minute onward is testament to the fact that Jamaicans have never truly enjoyed independence, but instead been the victim of continued colonialization. As a matter of fact, the term neo-colonialist is so apt in a situation like this, where we have politicians who freely embrace a spending habit in a country that does not include a deficit ceiling, where they'll say, I will not spend no more. But because they have the backing of the people, the taxes of the people at their disposal, they read those multi-billion-dollar figures of their tongue like it's water rolling down the river with ease. And a lot of that money is mismanaged, misplaced, and embezzled in some way, shape, or form with a direct corruption or ineptitude in the performance of their duties. And I can't stand for that anymore. UIC offers a simple solution. It is not a silver bullet, it is not a magic potion, it is not a fairy tale or a formula to transform Jamaica overnight, but a simple, true formula that other countries who are enjoying economic and social success this day have embraced. The formula is simple: proper leadership that is duly indoctrinated in their roles and is able to perform aptly and credibly with skill sets that are innate to specialized areas and work for the betterment of all Jamaicans. That is what has attracted me to the UIC, and that is why I'm here to make sure that my kids won't have to face multi-trillion-dollar debt when they become working adults and be relegated to be working slaves, but have the opportunity to reach their potential and have the opportunity for all the kids in their generation to reach their potential to be producers and not consumers on the heels of someone else. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Mr. Winston Wright. Appreciated, eloquently said, and true reflection of what it means a member of the UIC. Thanks again. We're now going to have Mr. Devon Thompson, our third vice president, who is always busy managing all of our technology channels. Yes, Devon, please.
Hi everyone. As Joseph says, I'm always busy managing all this stuff. So whenever the town hall comes around, I tend to be a man of not so many words. But a quick introduction. My name is Devon Thompson. I'm the vice president, one of the vice presidents of the UIC. I manage the social media aspect of the UIC, including the marketing technology, all the marketing campaigns, whether it's Facebook ads or generic posts. So right now we're live on Facebook. We're live two places in Facebook, in our Facebook group and on our Facebook page. So if you're joining us right now from our Facebook group, don't forget to like our Facebook page, because right now we have 8,000 people in the Facebook group, but around, I can't recall right now, maybe 3,000 in the Facebook page. So if you're listening from the Facebook group, go over to our page and like the page. We post some really interesting stuff there. So that would be great. And we're also live right now on YouTube, and we're live on Twitter. I tried to get us live on Instagram. So all the Instagram users who are going to see this eventually, I apologize. I was not able to get the stream up as well as I wanted to. So I just want to mention one word that speaks to me about why I joined the UIC and remained in the UIC, and I'm still learning about the different ideologies within the UIC, because we're all individuals. The word is freedom. All of us, what we need is freedom. What our governments offer right now, whether you're living in the US, you're living in Canada, if you're living in Jamaica, what they offer right now and what they're offering us in the future is not freedom. It's nowhere close to freedom, right? I always say this. People argue with me. It doesn't matter what your economic views is or what your political views are. You could be a capitalist, you could be a socialist, you could be a communist, you could be a Democrat or Republican, JLP. It doesn't matter what you are. Well, the only thing that matters is that you are free to believe in whatever you want to believe in, as long as you are not hurting anybody else, as long as you're not infringing on the rights, the rights for myself, as well as Joseph or anybody else, your right to life, property, and liberty. As long as you're not infringing on that, you should be free to practice whatever religion it is that you want to practice. Love whoever it is that you want to love. Join whatever political party you want to join, whatever economic view that you want to have, you should be able to do it, because we talk about having freedom under a free market system, and that freedom gives you the ability to actually practice socialism. We call it volunteerism, right? Like, it allows you to do all of these things under one system. You can come together with a group of people and do it. So I'm going to end my little introductory rant with the same word that I started it with: freedom. And that's what we're here for. Freedom. That's every time you leave your house, just say that word in your mind: freedom. That's what you want. That's what I want. That's what we all want, and that's what we all need. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Devon. Very well said. And that sums up the UIC. So freedom is what drives us. The right to one's life, the right to your liberty, and the right to own and enjoy your property with having any government or any authority figure dictating to you what to do with those rights of yours, so long as you're not interfering with the life, the liberty, or the property of anybody else. It may be hard to imagine. And in fact, many people would say, but we don't have that already. Actually, no. As Devon pointed out earlier on, we're being systematically led down the path where that's being taken away. In fact, COVID right now is being used as a major testing ground to see how far they can push us and how much we're willing to give up our rights and freedom in order for government to supposedly protect us in terms of health or in terms of economics. There are many people who would like for us to get to the stage where we all get a minimum income, where there's some set amount that we're going to get every month from government as a handout. There's no greater joy and no greater knowledge and no greater um, human esteem than to work what you want out of life, to earn what you want out of life. And that's why in the UIC, we honor, cherish, and promote individual as being the core of good governance. So once again, welcome everyone. And you have heard from our three vice presidents. I'm going to ask our membership director, Janet Chana, to give us a little from herself and her role. I think the others fail to tell you where exactly they're from at the moment. You need to know Paul Kingston, Winston. Yeah, Winston did mention that he is in Westmoreland, and one didn't mention that in Toronto. Janet, please go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Patterson, for those kind words and introduction and just giving us a little information about the purpose of the UIC. And I echo all the sentiments that were expressed. I live in the Chicago, Illinois area of the United States, and I'm ready to come home. But of course, not under the conditions that are there in Jamaica right now. So I came across the UIC by divine connection, I call it. And I was just mesmerized and just blown away by what I was reading because the post that Mr. Patterson made in the group echoed my same philosophies. And what was impressive to me the most was the history that I was learning. A lot of what I was learning, I never really learned when I was in school. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know all this. I didn't even understand the role of government. So I have learned so much, and this is one of the platforms that the UIC is creating a foundation to educate and help people to understand the role of government in a country and to help us understand that process and how it works. So I'm grateful to be here to be assisting and helping and getting more people on board because many people coming on board will make the work easier and lighter. Many hands make light work. So if we can get more people involved, that's what I'm here for. And all of us are here to introduce the UIC, the third political party. Nope, we're not a political party. We're a Congress. So no political parties divide people and create hostility. We want to just be one people working together towards the same goal of freedom and doing things that's best for us as long as we're not infringing on other people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I normally call her Sister Janet because she remind me of my church experience. Sister Janet, thank you. Um, so let's hear now from Kevin. Kevin is one of our planning committee members, and Kevin us as well. Kevin, you want to say a brief word of introduction? I know you're a man of few words, and normally quite passionate when you have to speak on these topics. Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kevin McLeod. I here in Atlanta, Georgia. I left Jamaica when I was 18 years old. Been here ever since. Um, I met Joseph while I was creating my own platform on social media to kind of attract um, independent parties and candidates. So, and I got onto learning about the UIC and the philosophy. And my favorite thing about it is that when we do attract the candidates that we need, my favorite thing is that our candidates will come from the local community. We won't send anybody anywhere to represent any local community. So those candidates will understand the issues on the ground. And that is my particular favorite thing about the organization.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Much appreciated. And thank you for being a part of our movement and the Congress. I'm going to ask Dr. Andre Jones to just introduce himself. He's not a member of the UIC as far as I know. He has not joined the UIC. He has been an interested party who has been following our development and as a keen in Jamaica's development as both an entrepreneur and a scientist, if you will. Jones, please.
Thank you very much, Joseph, for the introduction. I'm kind of very interested in the UIC as an alternative to the PMP and GLP, and I've observed politics probably for more than 30 years, living in the US and moving back to Jamaica, setting up a company and so on, and seeing how they have really taken advantage of the people of Jamaica and basically use them. Only time they pay attention to the ordinary people of Jamaica is when the elections come around every 5 years, and then they manipulate them, and the status quo stays in place. So the UIC coming and offering an alternative in terms of a constitutional system of laws and so on is very, very important. And I think with the educational program that Joseph and I guess the other team members of the UIC wants to roll out in terms of educating the people of Jamaica to let them know really what is their rights. Are they really free? Right? Will make a huge difference in Jamaica so that all of us can return home safely and have the equal opportunity, just like the plantation owner or the plantation system. So I'm really thankful for the invitation. I was actually invited by Paulette McKenzie to send me a link to Joseph, a talk that Joseph gave, and I was actually very impressed. And I actually then sent that message to several of my other friends and invited them to come and listen to Joseph. And let's see how we can all play an important role in terms of helping to build an alternative to what is out there. And so thank you again for the invitation. And I'm
Thank you
actually
very much.
calling in, I should say, I'm actually calling in from Florida. But yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. And I like what you said, because the UIC is really a coalition of Jamaicans from all over the world coming together to say it's time for us to have good governance in Jamaica. And so for that, we need an alternative to what exists. And I'm looking forward to working with you and many others from across the diaspora and inside Jamaica to see if we bring together something really powerful that will give Jamaicans another shot at creating a truly independent and economically free country that really trusts the people, that trusts the individual to do what is necessary to achieve his or her personal objectives, which by extension will achieve the objectives of the collective when he achieves his own. Let me hear now from Reggie. Reggie, tell us a little about yourself and how come you get to know the UIC and how come you get to be dropping off things to Paulette? You're muted, and Reggie, I can't hear you.
Yes, sorry about that.
No
Yes,
problem.
I'm good. Good afternoon or evening, everyone.
Fix your video
Hi.
though. You can't. We're seeing your. We're not seeing your face.
well, context.
There, that's better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm calling from Oracabessa, St. Mary, where I currently reside. Um, I was introduced to the town hall meeting and to the conversations by Andre, who I've known for over 10 years. In fact, I dropped off I dropped off and spoke with Paulette because I was running an errand on behalf of Andre. So that's the context. So I've never seen Paulette. I've spoken to her. Now I know her voice quite well because I was in on one of the town hall meetings maybe about a month ago, and I heard her spoke. Like many of you, I myself do have a certain desire for a better society um, here in Jamaica and globally, but you know, particularly where we reside and we actually are actually involved in communities. I came back to Jamaica in well, 8 years ago. No, that's not true. 10 years ago, I came back in 2010. I'd lived in California for 30 years and in the DC area for 2 years, and came back home pretty much to at least in my own expectation that I'll spend the rest of the remaining part of my life here in Jamaica. Of course, you know, we as active human beings who are conscious, meaning that we reflect on what's happening around us. We cannot help but come to certain assessment regarding the current status of the country and where it's going, and basically the importance of organization and specifically political organization. Because one of the interesting things is that although we'd like to see a united group of persons in politics, by its very nature, you're going to have divisions because of different outlook of different kinds, and also, but more importantly, different material interests that persons have that gets reflected in politics. So Andrew has invited me to listening on the conversation and to learn more about what your group is seeking to construct and the vision you have for the country and some of the ideas and principles that you have been elaborating at these meetings and elsewhere. Um, I myself have very very definite ideas myself as someone who spent my life trying to understand politics and society. But importantly, I am very much interested in understanding the strategic direction and plan because I hear the term freedom being expressed as the capstone, essentially, as far as the principles that the group is seeking to advance. But my own assessment is that freedom itself can never rise above the existing class structure in any society. And so, therefore, the foundation for freedom has to be really the ability of people to take care of themselves materially. And that becomes the basis for them to now have a certain amount, because it, it essentially speaks to the question of how persons use their time, yeah, and energies. And so it comes back to the issue of the existing class society. Some persons are freer than others to the extent that they have more control over their destiny, economically, socially, and spiritually. So I'm interested in understanding the kind of program that we believe can advance this freedom that we're talking about, because otherwise it's a freedom that will be quite muted and will really just kind of exist above existing class relationship. We have to, I believe it has to have a meaning that can only be, the meaning and significance of it can only be attached to really understand how people are organized to make their lives, and essentially the kinds of restraint that has to be you know gotten rid of in order for them to express their own lives, as human beings. But I'm interested in listening more and also to get a sense of how the group is being organized. One thing I hear that I like a lot is the question, is the point that we're looking for our leadership, the leadership and representative to actually come out of the actual communities that they seek to represent, because that now provides a basis for broad-based community representations in the political arena. So, without saying anything more, I just wanted to kind of thank you guys for having me on the forum. I may be controversial somewhat, but my main point is that I don't want to be ideological. I want to be very practical in terms of how we're moving, how we're organizing, and what we can collectively contribute to transforming the society that we're living in and seeking to participate in. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Reggie. That was a very good dissertation. And I think we should be able to have a very robust discussion with you in a little bit. We have heard from Robert Kerr. Mr. Kerr.
Uh, good night or good evening, depending on where you are. And thank you for the opportunity to add my 2 bits to the discussion. To be as quick as possible, what the UIC is attempting to do is of global significance. And do not for a minute think that Jamaica is not always under the radar. We are under the radar at all times. What we are attempting to do at this germinal stage needs to be very, very carefully thought out. The principles are good. The ideas of freedom are central, but how we translate that into a movement on the ground is where we have to pull on all the expertise and the experiences that we have. For example, the UIC should be a catalyst, and it should be able to energize a movement, because you don't want to be a third party that wins the election by 50% or get these extra seats and therefore you're in power and have 3/4 of the country not supporting you and behind your program. Where you have multiple parties, it oftentimes can mean more division within the country. So you really want your platform, not so much a platform for UIC, but a platform for the country of Jamaica. You want the ideas to be cemented in the minds and the hearts of Jamaicans. And when that is done, to me, the question of political power follows from that. But one has to be careful that one is not advancing another division, but actually creating greater unity. And my only warning is that once you declare yourself as a party, it is difficult for you to reach those that are partisan because they immediately begin to see as a threat. Just some things to be thought about. And, you know, I have a lot of other things to say, but for the time being, those are my points that you really have to be very strategic and tactful in going forward.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kerr. Sorry, Robert Kerr. I keep calling you. You don't want to be a doctor. But thank you very much. Very important points. I like the fact that you recognize the UIC's plans for global significance. As a matter of fact, it's being played out around the world right now. The conversation earlier today with my sister, who is in Florida, and we were talking about the challenges that they're faced with West and the election that's coming up, and the issue of um, uh, political party came up and how she voted and my thoughts and we as I explained to her what the problems are, not just the domestic problem she's feeling on the ground, but the global problem. She was quite taken and quite distraught by how she voted. And she said, "Boy, I'm so much more informed now. I wish we had had this discussion before I did my early voting." But anyways, it is what it is. I want to take a minute now to just refresh our memory as to the fact that the UIC is committed to a nonpartisan system. And this is very important because we're now speaking to, as Robert pointed out, we're speaking something bigger than party. So we're a non-partisan system that we're advocating, which to Reg's point and to Kevin's point, that we're looking to go back to the grassroots and have the representation coming from the people out of their respective communities, as opposed to a top-down approach in terms of, you know, our party putting somebody into an area. So it's a non-partisan constitutional republic, and those three words are very important. Many Jamaicans, the word republic, they really think of simply getting rid of the queen and having a president in place. But a republic is much more significant to us here at the UIC. A republic is republic is a country where the sovereignty of the individual is protected. And that is the key aspect of republicanism that we're talking about, protecting the sovereignty of the individual. Constitutional, meaning we want to embed in the Constitution some key principles that should not be ever revoked. And if someone tries to revoke them, they're very difficult to revoke. And these are the principles of protecting the life, the liberty, and the property of every single Jamaican equally. We know, of course, that this speaks to, or this is counteracted by some inherent inequities in our system, inherent inequities from slavery straight through to the present day that have left many, many Jamaicans behind, that have crippled many Jamaicans, an education system that have left a significant number of our countrymen and women disenfranchised mentally and technically, and and therefore sets them at a gross disadvantage in any system of freedom. And I think Reggie was alluding to that in what he was saying. And UIC is not unaware of those inequities that we need to address. In fact, I am an example of one who was born into the inequity. When I was born in August in 1971, we were living in a room house, with your everything is in the one little room. It was probably around, I would say, 10 feet by 10 feet, bed, stove, you know, TV, refrigerator, gas, everything in one little space. And if you want to use the bathroom, you have to go outside, and it's dark and dingy and cockroach infested. And so that was my early beginning, born in downtown Kingston, and with a single mother, with three of us sleeping on one bed, head to toe. Well, four of us, my brother and my sister, on the one bed, and going to school and drinking little mint tea or soursop leaf tea and a bread. And you look, the butter is on it. So I understand where you're coming from, you know, and that we have some serious inequities that we have to fix. But the problem is that they have used those inequities to trick us. They have all promised that they're going to bring us prosperity. And they promise us this prosperity within a system that will not really allow them to address the problem raised. because first of all, the existing system requires that the very rich and powerful ones that fund the major parties, that gives them air on their media platforms, and therefore promote to the Jamaican people these individuals as the only respectable that they should look to for leadership. And during their political campaign, those are the persons who have the $1 million to spend in one constituency to win the votes. They're the ones who have the means to mobilize the poor and disenfranchised at the economic level and give them a handout and give them a t-shirt and a cap, little $5,000 or $7,000 and say, come to a meeting here, get a crowd here, bring out your little guys then here, and then send the taxi and the little bus to go them up and rustle them up and bring them to the polling station and give the little job for indoor agent, outdoor agent, the little one money for the year. And they know how to twist the whole thing and get the people engaged and excited and hanging off on bus and breaking all the rules and codes that the government says you should keep, and then they break it during the election process. And then they give their most trusted and most committed activists certain little contracts to fix a road that they can't fix or to debush a area and all these things. So this is how they have manipulated the people in the existing system, and they know how it works, and they know how to make it work with the funding mechanism that they have, with the control that they then have with the taxpayers' money and being paid full politicians, right? So the UI is always saying we need to look at that system and step. Does it cannot work. We keep it if we're ever going to fix the inequities. But they use the idea people are poor and suffering. We're going to help you, and we're going to use the money from the big man to campaign to you. And then when we go into power, we're going to do the things to fix your problems, and it never happens. Okay. So the UIC says, let's make a constitution that will truly protect rights and that will break down the partisan system all together and allow representation from the grassroots level. And let's make sure that every Jamaican has true security. Their life, their liberty, their property are truly protected. My heart was broken this morning when I woke up and I saw a post on Facebook. I think it's Janet who posted it. A young girl planted her potatoes and cured those potatoes over 3 months. She would have gotten the suckers, the seeds. She would have gone through her land and got it plowed and prepared, do all the stuff she needed to do. Borrowed some money, maybe, begged some money. Maybe she get help from a member or a previous crop she had done. And she put all of her energy and her money into this. And then up Sunday morning and thief got through and just thief out everything. And where is she going to turn? If she goes to the police and report it, chances are she still not, they will not find who did it. She will not get any justice. She will have no, she didn't have insurance, farmers insurance covering crop. And she's going to be discouraged. She's going to probably this was the last little bit of money she have. And there are thousands of Jamaicans who live in this environment of being unsafe. They can't plan properly, they can't save properly, they can't invest properly because they're always under constant threat from two sources, from the criminal outside and from the legalized criminal called the government. Because the government can come in, you can have your bee farm here in your community, and they come in and just spray the community and kill off all of your bees, and you have basically no redress. You can go and complain to RADA, and if you're lucky, or if you know the right person, or if you're properly connected, you might get some kind of you know partial refund or whatever it is. But the society is not designed to bring out the best in our people, and the UIC understands this. And so our goal is to create a Jamaica that allows you to succeed, even if you're poor, because the poor man can succeed, if he don't have the government pulling the rug from under his feet with excessive taxes, excessive regulation, or a corrupt system can't get through unless him know somebody or connected to somebody here or there. So move these impediments and can survive. He can succeed. I watched my mother as a single mother. She worked very hard. And if she didn't have the impediments that I saw impeding her entrepreneurial spirit and activities, created by the very government that is supposed to be helping her, facilitate her, she would have gotten even. She still didn't give up. She tried. So our mission as a as a as a Congress is to non-partisan constitutional republic that fully protects your individual, that promotes personal responsibilities and empowers every citizen to realize their full potential. That is the crux of the core. And our values support this. Our core values is to ensure equal opportunity, equal rights, and equal justice for all. And to achieve this, we have some key platform items I think will make a big difference to the Jamaican people. Number one, we want to reduce the size of government. It's too big and it's taking up too much space and too much resources from the Jamaican people. So I want to reduce the size. We want to eliminate the excessive red tape that gets in the way of of small businessman or micro entrepreneur who is trying to do something. Everywhere he turns, too many impediments placed by his government to prevent him. So I want to eliminate those, eliminate the red tape, reduce the size of government, and by this reduce the cost to taxpayers. Reduce the cost to taxpayers to no more than 10% of their income. So every single person who earns or receives money from a source knows that his obligation is to give 10% of that to the government to ensure he has a safe, a clean, and orderly society that protects life, his liberty, and his property so that he or she can live, earn, and retire with dignity. So taxes now become a patriotic part of your life. You feel good to pay it because it's not too big, it's only 10%, but you can see exactly where it is going. You can see clearly that you have a road network that works, public transportation system that works, an education system that works, a healthcare system that works. Live on a road which has a proper address, proper road signs. You have sidewalks you can walk on and not be having to dodge traffic when it turns a corner. You're not walking through knee height or ankle height of water when the rain falls. You have street lights in your community. So even if you have to go to work at night, you can feel safe coming home. Safe because you can see clearly where you're going or driving, and also safe now you have a respectable, professional, and equipped police service that will ensure that you feel protected, you are protected, and that if somebody should ever try to step out of line, you trust that they're going to be able to quickly get on top of the issue and resolve it. You know you have a justice system you can appeal. It's affordable and accessible. You don't have to go and fight anybody or kill anybody, pay anybody to kill anybody. Now you know you can trust the justice system. It is fair, it is accessible, it's affordable, and you can use it to resolve the smallest of matters. Contracts are honored, debts are honored. You can enter into a relationship with another party and know that what you have agreed to will be honored and protected by law efficiently and effectively. That's the kind of country you need if people are going to be productive. Then you're going to have something where we say, listen, we know that some of us are very poor, disenfranchised. So we pay the sales tax, the GCT, it's already there. But we bring it down to 10% and we dedicate that to ensuring every single child gets the nutrition that they need, because without proper nutrition, you can't learn. So if you're in a poor family, we want to make sure that you're eating right, a good breakfast and a good lunch, indigenous Jamaican foods prepared in the Jamaican way of excellence, and not food with all kinds of chemicals and stuff. And we get back to our organic roots. Proper nutrition, a proper education program that ensures that you can think and reason, and can do mathematics and science and can apply that productive outcomes. A housing program that ensures that the poorest among us can live in decent housing with proper electricity, water, internet access, indoor facilities, plumbing facilities, bathroom facilities, um, and to build these in an environmentally friendly way that preserves our land for agriculture and for energy and for water harvesting, and make sure that we're not just sprawling out, but build. So we provide housing. It doesn't mean we use up our. So we become as careful, as possible, um, like Singapore, in managing our land in a way that doesn't leave us, um, vulnerable, because we're just build housing anyway and anyhow and just take our land for housing, when we can do things differently and preserve our land and environment for maximum yield, to ensure we have water security, energy security, and food security right here at home. And then we want to make from this 10% that we have health care for our children. But the way we do this is not to tell our people the lie that education is free, or healthcare is free, or this is government housing, but rather all of us have to be involved in the productive process to earn what we want. So the government is going to ensure that those who are most in need gets the help that they want, but it's help so that they can produce. So you don't have 6 children and just sit down and wait for part money and say the government give me part money and that's it. No, we're going to require that you're a part of a works program, a program where you're learning and developing skills, producing, while your child is getting a quality education. So the child won't suffer because of your um, poor situation, but you won't be able to lay idle while your child is getting the benefit of somebody else's labor. So I want you to be a part of the productive. So if you can only afford 50% of the school fee, you pay 50%. If you can afford 75%, you pay 75. 100, you pay 100. If you can only afford 10%, 10. If you can't afford, no problem. We're going to make your child is educated, but we're going to put you in a government works program. It may be in horticulture. It may be in permaculture. It may be in sanitation. It may be in some kind of assembly in a factory setting, whatever it is. But we're going to find work for you so that you can be an active participant in your child's education, funding your housing, funding your healthcare, even if all you can fund it by is 1%. But fund it you will, because you cannot expect that others must take all the burden for you because of your decisions. We will eliminate all the other taxes, like property tax. Get rid of that, because property tax is a sin, it's a crime. You should not be paying tax for a product over and over and over. You buy it one time, you pay tax in the process, move on from there. It's now your property. Custom duties. We need to eliminate people can bring in technology. The government's action has caused Jamaicans to not have access to the best technologies in the world to build missions, to learn from those technologies and to build. Instead, they have to be spending time trying to dodge customs, trying to find who can get them out, try to get through. Waste of energy. We need to fix that. We need to stop wasting of time trying to navigate and get a government and focus on production. So all of those unfair fees and unfair taxes that are getting in production, getting in the way of our young entrepreneurs, we're going to remove those. so that we can get the best and the cheapest products and technologies from around the world to grow our local businesses, to grow our engagement with the global society in terms of and trading with them, so that we can raise our standard of living. We should have no problem with somebody wanting to buy a foreign goods. If you can afford it and want it, that's fine. We're not in the thing of trying to tell you what you can or cannot have. That's not the role of government. The role of government is to make sure that nobody can come and thief what you have, or kill you for what you have, or enslave you to work for them. We're going to make life by systematically eliminating government red tape and corruption, by moving to a fully digital economy with special provisions for the elderly and disabled, make sure nobody is left behind. But we need to move to an efficient way of producing our money and using money. Yes, there are risks to all of that. There's always risk. But because of core values that are entrenched in our constitution to protect your liberties, protect your rights, a digital economy need not to be something of fear. So a NIDS program, for example, is only fearful for us because we have a government and politicians can't trust. We have a constitution which is colonial, which is not built to protect, but to protect the rights of the crown and those who work on behalf of the crown. We need to get over that by eliminating that and making the individual Jamaican the sovereign entity in the constitution. Ensure that every community is no more ghettos. From east to west, south, every community must be safe, must be clean, must be orderly. And that means we must have a very effective local government program, an effective police service, an effective justice system that ensures we have good streets, good communities that are kept clean. And then we prosecute those who seek to do otherwise. But we're not going to simply call the people now because we, the government, fail to manage the resources, fail to give them the environment they need, and then turn around and call them nasty because there's no garbage bin and people end up throwing stuff on the road, of course. And there's no government workers employed to maintain the street. And so we have our gutters backed up. We don't have a proper schedule capital program. We just leave it for years and years while we're wasting space, money, and stealing it. And then when they burst out, we'll blame the citizens. No, that has to go. We have to have a country that's run properly like you'd run a business. Anybody who have a good business, make sure your capital is properly cycled, that provisions in place, you're keeping back reserves to maintain your capital stock. That's what our infrastructure is, our public capital stock. So all of that should have been gained over the years and not left for 50 years. And then you come and tell the people that they're at fault. The people are not at fault. The leaders are at fault. The government is at fault. And the system of governance that we have is at fault. So we want a Jamaica that is safe, clean, and orderly, that looks, that smells, that feels a tourist destination in every part of the country. There's no reason this beautiful country cannot be beautiful throughout and throughout. So every community you go in, street, every lane, flowers, nice street signs, good sidewalk. And our people are willing to do that. It's just that they have lacked the leadership. Our government do not respect us. It doesn't respect us. It doesn't see us as worthy. Look how they build their houses. Look how the politicians build their houses. Aesthetics look like. A nice manicured lawn should be, how the entrance to their gates should be. They put care into that. That's why they of making millions and millions of dollars to give them this wonderful, grand place to live in. Why not the Jamaican people a grand country to live in? It's our money. Let's spend it on ourselves and make sure we have a grand country all of us can be proud of. We can get up on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and go to the park. Well maintained. The grass is good, the flowers are good, the waterfalls are good, park benches are good, the areas for us to go and exercise are good, the trails are good, the lanes, the ponds, the fishing ponds are there. You know, we can have that. Jamaica has all the resources for that to happen, and we have the people to get it done. But we have misplaced our human resources. We have displaced our human resources. We have told our people that if you want a better life, you have to go foreign. Well, we need to bring foreign right here in Jamaica by making Jamaica a beautiful, attractive, nice place to live in, and we can do it. Every citizen must have a fixed address, adequate street lights, sidewalks, street signs, indoor plumbing and water, metered electricity, high-speed internet access, because we can do it and we have the capacity to do it. So, my friends, this is the Jamaica the UIC wants to create. And I hope that this is Jamaica you want as well. We can do it, we must do it. And hear what all of you have said. I listened to Robert, I listened to you, Reggie, and I know that you want this and you want the UIC to organize itself in such a way we can do it. I can't do it alone, neither can you. But together, we're stronger. We can create a united Jamaica, a Jamaica, and a free Jamaica. All right, question and answer time. Let's begin with Dr. Jones.
Hi, Joseph. Every time I listen to you, I'm so excited and motivated. But one of the
Thank
nagging
you.
questions I do have is how do we get this message out to every single Jamaican in the diaspora and in Jamaica? I remember as a kid growing up and maybe passing through downtown or crossroad, I used to have these big megaphone with some politician talking. I think you need to get one of those platforms downtown and be singing this tune, right? Because I think the people of Jamaica really need to be able to hear this. And I guarantee you, maybe 80% of the people is not going to hear this through a Facebook or through a Twitter because they're not online, right? Or they can't afford
Yeah.
that data. But this is
Yes.
very, very important for the people to hear. And one of the thing is, I don't know if this, when you're talking here, is it automatically being recorded? Because I would love to send um, what you have
Let me ask
articulated
Devon,
out, right?
is this being recorded?
It's not recorded in Zoom. It's been recorded elsewhere.
Okay, all right. So it's being recorded, which is good.
Right. Yeah. So
So
because we
that,
need to get these, even some of these communications that we have on this platform to really get it out to the people of Jamaica. And by the way, I don't know if the parties, the JLP or PMP is listening, but I noticed in the last newspaper clipping, I see Mr. Charles, Colonel Charles' son, starting to advocate some of the things that we were talking about on last month's meeting in terms of the beach access.
yeah.
So, but we need to be able to get the message of the UIC out. I think it's so critical
Yes,
into
I
every
tell you,
forum, into the universities, into the high schools. So somehow we need to devise a plan that we can get this message out. Because I think once the people can hear this, I think they'll forget about the JLP, forget about the PMP, and give the UIC a chance so that you'll be able to, or the UIC be able to implement some of these laws and policies, good policies to benefit the people of Jamaica.
yes, I think so too, Dr. Jones. I am convinced that when the Jamaican people hear what the UIC stands for, they will rally. Um, but we're getting there slowly but surely because Devon has done a few experiments and it has shown that there are ways that we can and are reaching people through this platform. We don't have the funding yet that we need. We're beginning to build our fundraising. We don't have the funding yet that we need to do, for example, some solid shows, which we want to do across all 14 parishes, step by step. I'm working out some stuff with some folks invited me to their communities to participate in sharing with them. And every community I go to, I tell you this, not one person opposes the UIC after they have heard. They're skeptical at first, but once they have heard what we stand for, immediately they want to join the movement immediately from any area of Jamaica, whether it is in Savlamar in Westmoreland or it is in Morant Bay in St. Thomas. The same response we get. So as soon as we do as you're saying and get the message out, we're going to have the responses there. But we're limited and we're working on it. Thank you. Who is next?
I have a question or a comment.
Sure.
Uh, Part of my professional work is about doing projects, development projects. And one of the things that we place as a number one priority is to develop a communication plan and strategy. And we have to find out how people get the information, what form, time of day, what they listen to, what's the best way for them to retain information. So we normally begin by doing a communication and information assessment to determine these things. So there are people who are specialists in doing that. And for the UIC, we need to be able to bring somebody who has those skills, um, because you don't want to just be getting money to go out there and have meetings and so on. It's not like that. A good assessment will guide you as the most efficient and effective way to get out there to people. And so I'm
Right.
presenting that to tell you that there are people, and one of the things we should look at in terms of expanding support and membership is to get people who have those kinds of expertise on board. And
Absolutely.
I have a few people, and I mean, I got this town hall thing a little late, right? But if I get enough information beforehand, I would try to invite a couple of those people with their expertise to come and hear, and then to see how they can actually assist and support the thing. Because I'm telling you, um, this COVID message that they are getting out to people on the radio every day, many people, it don't reach them. I mean, they hear it,
Mm,
those who hear it, but doesn't
yes,
impact
yes,
them. So you want your message to be impacting. And I think we have
absolutely.
some strong points. I mean, when I hear tell me about property tax, it impact me right away. Because
Hmm.
I don't know why I should be punished for owning property. I have to
Exactly.
pay over and over and
Exactly.
over and over, and that money could go into production.
Absolutely.
So
You're paying a rent.
yeah,
You're
for
paying a
my
rent
own thing, for
on the
my own
property.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
For
there,
forever,
for
forever. For as long as you live.
so there are quite a few punch and powerful points that have been brought up by you and other persons today that we need
Yes.
to package those things. And so
Yes.
we can talk about, but I think that we need. I think the GLP probably has somebody helping them with their
Mhm.
that's a nice. I know GLP probably have some expertise helping and guiding them with their PR, right?
Yeah,
But
man.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah. They're very skilled at it. It's there's no doubt about that.
so
And
we
you're
need to be
right.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are. You have hit the nail on the head, and you have said all the right things that we have to do. We have a resident self-taught expert who has been doing a lot of work in that area, and I think both yourself and him will have some discussions, and
Yeah.
together we'll figure it out. But thank
Yeah.
you, most appreciated.
Yeah, man. And
Who's next?
you grow by pulling these people in, the expertise you need.
Absolutely,
All right, great.
absolutely. So right. Thank you, Robert.
Can I
Who's
can
next?
I can I just say one more quick thing, Joseph?
Sure, sure. Go right ahead.
Um, I believe that the message that we're advocating here, you can start raising some funds in the US and probably Canada by sending these messages to the diaspora. I remember
Yeah.
being part of the diaspora here in Florida back in maybe 2006 and so on. And
Uh-huh.
we raised a lot of money for Portia Simpson because we thought that she was going to offer something different. Thousands. I wrote a check for
Mhm.
$1,000 US. I'm just telling you,
Yes,
if
yes.
you can get this message out to the diaspora, wherever, England,
Hmm.
Canada, the US,
Wherever. Yeah.
they will give you money. I will guarantee you once they hear the message, you'll start raising money. And I think you should put that on one of your agenda to implement and
Well,
get it to
definitely.
certain people because they want
We
to see
are
this change also.
Yeah, we are going to get it done with your help and Robert and others. We are going to get it done. So thank you for that. And it's well noted. We have, I don't know if Camille
I think she probably lost connection, but she keeps a running action list. And right now we're in the process of completing our strategic plan, which covers key areas where we may try to do, as Robert is saying, understand the customer. We call our citizens, in this case, the customer. We want to understand the customer clearly so we can communicate effectively, and our operations, as well as our how we learn and grow as a movement, and of course balancing the financial aspect of it to make sure we're financially sustainable. So we're working on our strategic document. It will be finished very soon. All the vice presidents are, working in earnest to finish their section. Have my goodness, Winston, your partner in crime who is doing the compilation. Marvin
Yes, Marvin.
is working on compilation to make sure all the pieces are together. We have on this call and Millis, who is doing some great work. We had some good meetings last week talking about how he's building out the UIC TV platform, and that's going to come on soon. So we're working through it, and I think with all of us here putting our heads together, from Dr. Jones to Reggie to Robert to our three vice president, Janet, Kevin, Marlon, believe me, we're going to be able to do this. Next question from anyone. This might be your turn.
I saw where Winston wanted to talk.
Oh, Winston. Thank you, Devon.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Thank you, Devon. Firstly, I listened to Dr. Jones and Mr. Carr, and they must have been in the room in the other meetings that we've been having, because they've been saying exactly the things that we've been working on. And as you said, Joseph, Mr. Patterson, we do have those things coming up. As a matter of fact, while I'm listening, I'm actually working, because this is the only time I'm actually working on my part of the document while I'm listening. So we do have those plans, but the UIC being an organization, a grassroots movement that is at its core advocating a total revamping of the political power structure as it exists in Jamaica, has no friends. And I discovered that painfully. And I've always said that Jamaican politics is as highbrow as anywhere else. When I got involved with the UIC, I realized that the dark underbelly of American politics, British politics, world politics also exists in Jamaica, where the message of the UIC is being, and I say this unequivocally, is being deliberately obstructed.
Yes.
So we as a grassroots movement who are not as well endowed with financial benefactors as the other entities are finding it difficult, and this is by design. They are deliberately either trying to dilute or obstruct our message, and they do listen to the things we put out there and then annex it as their own.
Absolutely.
Now, the UIC doesn't claim proprietary rights to the ideas that we expound. We put them out there for the benefit of the greater Jamaican population, whether you be Jamaican at home or in diaspora. When you come, we want you to be at peace, to enjoy your retirement if you're retiring here. We want you to enjoy the properties that you have worked for and bought with hard-earned money. We want you to spend the way you believe you should, and we want you to be able to enjoy the benefits of your hard labor in peace, free from fraud and force. And we work hard at UIC to get that message out. We work across several platforms, but our main domain is social media, because mainstream media in Jamaica has become conglomeratized and has deliberately ignored our messages. We have sent out, since I've gotten involved with the UIC, we have sent out 25 press releases, and only one single one was picked up by mainstream media. One. But guess what? We have also sat and listened to mainstream media go to unregistered persons, unaffiliated persons, and even persons who definitely don't have a point of view or a grasp of the topic to say, what is your opinion on this? And deliberately ignore the UIC, even though they have a press release on their desk A call to the editor confirms it, that they have it, but there is no action on it. And it is slowly being revealed to us that because of the political conglomerization of media, mainstream media in Jamaica, UIC will not get that airtime that it deserves, as they do not want Jamaica to know what the UIC planned or what we can do. They don't want persons to galvanize around the idea of the UIC. Having said that, we recognize that, and Joseph, being a man of great ideas, has said we need our own media outlet. So from the social media space where we work and we're very effective, he has looked at putting together our own broadcast system so we can put our message out there on a consistent basis, on a regular basis, and that is coming. As he mentioned, Marlon and several others are working on that initiative, and we continue to try to break into the traditional media space. Devon does a great deal of work on social media to make sure that we maintain our social media penetration, and our strategic plan is geared towards driving our education program through social media, improve our penetration, improve our networking, and be able to reach persons without going through mainstream. And when we become too big to be ignored, you will see the UIC. So that is my comment on those things. In terms of question, since I'm on, let me just prompt the discussion by asking the question. We mentioned tourism, and I remember going to several tourist destinations, whether it be in the Caribbean, North America, wherever, and looking at their tourism product. And it is not as great as the Jamaican tourism product, but the packaging, that bright shiny package, is what makes the difference. And I see our tourism minister getting accolades all over. And when I drive on Bottom Road, I'm driving through, and forgive the crassness, sweet water flowing on the streets. I'm driving on Bottom Road, and the park that is there, that is supposed to be a shining example, is falling apart. The nightlife that is supposed to exist is non-existent, and this is before COVID. So my question to prompt discussion: what will the UIC do in our major tourist area to make Jamaican tourism what it actually should be?
Full question, Mr. Vice President. Thank you very much for that. And for all the comments you have made, you have put into context a number of issues, particularly that the media is working against the UIC. You saw how they treated me on CVM the other day, where pretty much laughed me to scorn, did not allow me to finish my sentences, ridiculed me, called me a liar. We brought back the following day and showed that, well, they were the one that were not informed. You know, but we continue to press on. But your question is very valid, and it speaks to the UIC's mission. We do not see tourism as a product that should be designated for any one area of Jamaica. We believe Jamaica should be developed for all Jamaicans. What is good for the tourist is good for Jamaica. So if tourists must have a well-scented environment that's clean, that smells good, that looks good, that is well cared for, then that's what Jamaicans need. And so we want to have a situation where a tourist feels at home in any area of Jamaica. There should not be sewage waters running in the street. Not have areas piled up with garbage all over the country just because it's not a tourist area. You leave it to pile up. We should have garbage bins properly throughout the country at strategic locations for citizens to use. We should ensure that there are public washrooms that are properly maintained throughout the country, to pull off the road, or while they're walking to work or to school, to use a public washroom. We should have regular maintenance that are working throughout the country in their designated areas, keep our streets clean and to keep our environment smelling proper. And a public works department that maintenance of our infrastructure seriously and is held to account. One of the things the UIC is going to is really narrow the focus of government to its role. When you have it the way it is right now, where government is all over the place, trying to get its hands into everything so they can control every aspect of our life, and therefore it keep all the avenues of money so that they can, rape the country. We want to change that. Focus the government on keep public infrastructure up to date and clean and orderly, keeping the spaces clean and orderly. And so I want tourism to be something that is community. so the community benefits, not to have major companies simply come in and build, infrastructures out that are owned by foreigners, and then tourists come here and eat imported foods and then go back to their country, and the companies that are here send back the profits to their countries because they're not truly just Jamaican. We want to bring the economy down to the grassroots level so that the tourists can feel comfortable staying in somebody's home, and that person gets the benefit of the income from that, and money is spent and kept in the local economy. So every foreign dollar earned, it is Jamaican banana that they eat, Jamaican yam that they eat, Jamaican poultry that they eat, Jamaican plantain that they eat, Jamaican cassava that they eat, and it's all Jamaican. And because we have an economy of scale which is diversified throughout the communities, and the tourist experience is a good one from east to west and north to south, and it is owned by Jamaicans. Even if we have foreign, I'm not against foreign coming in and building something, but we need to make sure that the economy is built for us to succeed and to get the full benefits of. Before I go to you, Dr. Jones, I think there's somebody online who point. Maroon, thank you for joining us on YouTube. And your comment, let me read it out loud. I am betting on the UIC because you have by far the most structured work done the reform of Jamaica. End of quotes. Thank you very much, Maroon. You're very right about that. We have a clear path to reform Jamaica because we're serious about making Jamaica a place that works for all Jamaicans. So thank you for that. Um, uh, Robert Carr wrote, the time is now for these ideas, and there's a war on for the new order. Who will it be, for the individual citizen or to those who have been paying the piper and waging war? Excellent. We want to make sure it is for the individual citizens, for the average man and woman, by Jamaica. Excellent. Dr. Jones, question.
Yes, I wanted to say quickly. I'm not sure if it's contemplated yet by your media person that controls their media, but I think the UIC need to look at either purchasing a few billboards around the country in some really high traffic areas, which then link the UIC website and to other social media platforms. So at least when the people see it, they can go and hear the words, hear the message. I think that's another way you can reach the masses, and we really should look at it and see, put a cost down on it, find out what the cost is. Even some small billboards, but through traffic areas, Santa Cruz, downtown, Crossroads, Half a Tree, and people can start seeing what is the UIC, and they maybe can get on their phone, go look it up, and you can hear that message. I think once people start hearing the message, then they don't know that they start having another alternative.
Beautiful. Excellent point, Dr. Jones. Perfect point. We will definitely do that. I think that's a key thing. Did you have a question?
Joseph,
Yes.
so I hear the question. I just invited someone from our Facebook page. He was on live. He said he's interested in asking a question. So he's in here right now. So let's let Paulette ask a question, and then can we go to him after? His name is Tyrell TJ.
Wonderful. Paulette, as a beautiful vice president, I'm going to ask you to hold your question.
Sure,
and let's
not a
hear from
problem. Not a
Tyrell
problem.
first. Go ahead, Tyrell. Tyrell, you're on. Go ahead.
Yes, good night.
Good night. Welcome.
All right, thanks for having me. You know, as a young person growing up, having had different experiences in a country like ours, it's kind of disheartening to see for real how the UIC has been treated by the government. I was watching closely as you said that you were misrepresented in the media, and I realized that such a thing is very true, because if you're not with the plan of the colonizers, apparently you cannot be a part of the show, right?
Exactly.
So first, before I continue, I want to ask, what is it that the UIC really plans to do about such a situation the next time around? Um, Let me say I wasn't able to catch the earlier part of the live because I was busy. I got on a bit late, so I'm not sure if that was said and I missed it.
Sure. You're asking what we'll do the next time around if we are on, say, a CVM program or the next
Right.
election.
Well, election wise, right?
Oh, yes. So election, we are definitely going to have 63 candidates already. These candidates will come from their local communities. They will not be plants by the UIC, the persons who have a genuine interest in their communities and have the competence to effectively represent their communities and believe in the core values and principles of the UIC and wants to see a new and better Jamaica, a really new and better Jamaica. And so that you can expect in the next election. You can expect a grassroots operation where we are working with people in the community in teams across all regions and regions in their constituencies. And this will be both at the local government level and at the national level as we strive for complete representation to all Jamaicans.
Okay. All right.
And
I heard earlier. Yes, thanks for the response. I heard earlier where you were speaking to, I don't remember the name of the person, and you were speaking about soliciting funds for the UIC. We know that when it comes to elections and such, those are very important revenue because election is no cheap business. um,
exactly.
Outside of just funds, though, I think the UIC has to slowly build that the face so that when it comes the time to campaign, people will not have to ask who is the UIC, what is the UIC, what are they
Mhm.
about, right? So over time that you have to do that. Plus, one of the best ways, social media is good, it's great. One of the best ways is trying to get young people involved, right? Usually, what I see with the regular mainstream parties is that it's just old men, right?
Yes, yes.
And they have to, on election times, um, use young people to get young people.
Mhm.
So I'm saying today in today's society, even more so that it's going more digital, um, young people are easier to reach. So
Well, Terrell, what I hear you saying, you're saying a lot of things that you haven't said, and this is important. What you're really saying, can we make that the party's representation is actually made up of young people as opposed to just using young people. So having young people as a part of the architecture of the movement and a part of the face of the movement. And that's something that we're completely committed to doing and doing that little by little. We're very careful to want to address the issue of balance, making sure we have the appropriate gender balance, the appropriate economic balance. We want to have persons at all different economic strata of the country. And most importantly, to make sure that the community representations are persons who are truly engaged in their communities and understand the needs of the community and can represent them in our forum and then, of course, when elected in the House of Representatives. So, Terrell, you are invited publicly to make sure that you become a part of the leadership of the UIC to bring more young people in and to not there as a way to win election, but as a part of the discussion of policy to design the new Jamaica that we want to see. And now I have to say real new Jamaica because Andrew stole the new Jamaica from us. So now we talk about the real new Jamaica. So I need you to be a part of that process, real new Jamaica. All right. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Well, that is a very welcomed invitation. I'm a person who, when I see, because based on my activity in the group on social media, you may see that I'm conscious in certain areas. So when I see such a group, I wouldn't want to say party, a group such as UIC advocating for freedom, truth, and humanity, it is something that I would have no problem to assist with. So I just want to commend the fact that you did not give up because of the pushback from the monopolized media. And I think UIC will make it far as long as the support is there and all that.
Yeah, so
Thank you very much, Terrell. And oh yes, Devon, go ahead.
yeah, so we're having a new members meeting. Yeah, sorry, we're having a new members meeting next Sunday. So in the Facebook chats, I posted the link to join the UIC. So you guys can click that link, join the UIC, sign up, and then I'll send you a meeting invite to join our Zoom meeting for next Sunday. So if you're listening right now and you're interested in joining the UIC, just click the link that I sent in the chat box and join us.
Excellent.
Invitation to join is not only extended to Tyrell, but all who are here, whether you are on the Zoom meeting, whether you're on Facebook, whether you are on any of the social media pages, do as Devon asked, click that link, and we will be happy to have you. We will bring you to our introductory meeting where you can get in-depth information on our values, our value system, our governance plans, and work with us. We need the support, we need the bodies, and we need your expertise. So to everyone here listening, whether you're on Zoom or any of the other social.
And it's sorry, Joseph. So it's
Go ahead.
important that everyone understands something about UIC. I heard Tyrell mention it. He accidentally said political party and changed his mind and said group, which is a good thing to say because in political parties you have people who are full-time politicians. Nobody in the UIC is a full-time politician. As a matter of fact, I I don't even consider anybody in the UIC a politician. Consider concerned Jamaicans who have expertise in different fields. Like Joseph is an expert in finance, right? So we have varied people within the UIC, and we need more people. We need people who are experts in engineering, experts in health, experts in agriculture. We need those people to come together and join the UIC. The people in the UIC are regular people just like you. Like I work a 9 to 5 and I operate a business. There are others in the UIC who in the UIC management structure who work 9 to 5s. So the honest truth is we don't have all the time in the world like the JLP or the PNP politicians to run these marketing campaigns. So what we rely on people power. We need more hands. I only have 2 hands, 2 ears, 2 eyes, right? I need at least 20 more hands, right, to join me to push these messages out on social media.
Thank you very much.
Definitely. And if you're hungry for change, this is a way to contribute to it. Even if you don't want to be in the forefront, we definitely could use you on one of our projects. So Devon need more ears and hands. So we all need a helping hand. So come be a part of the movement, not a party, but a movement of persons who are hungry for change, real substantive change.
Okay, thank you very much. Hold on, Sister Paulette. I have to take it back now. So thank you all so very much for your contribution. And let me just say something. For the first time tonight, I learned that Devon only has 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 ears. All this time, I thought this guy had a whole lot more than that. So I learned something. So guys, help him out because he has been going at a rate that suggests he has and what he has just alluded to. Let's go to Paulette's question. Paulette.
Well, not just a question. I want to, like everybody else has been advocating and asking persons to come on board. We need you to come on board also with your finances. We want people to join We want people's expertise. We also need your contribution and your donations. So as the person who is responsible for fundraising, I am taking the opportunity at this point to remind you that we're a grassroots organization, and we do need your help. We do need your $1,000, Dr. Jones. You do need your $1,000 and your $10 and your $20. And we also need, as we said, from various strata of Jamaica. We want not just we want the business people, we want the ordinary persons, because it's that mix of people that is going to be able to give us the strength that we need in order to carry the organization to where we want it to go. Every time I hear Mr. Patterson talks about the real new Jamaica, I know that Jamaicans are saying, how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? I mean, we are used to paying all these taxes. You're telling me you're going to get rid of property tax. You're going to bring taxes to 10%. How are you going to do that in light of the fact that we are already paying so much and we are getting what we're getting? One thing we want to remind Jamaicans is the significant cost of corruption in Jamaica. It is a significant cost. When we save, and I heard somebody made this to say that there's no system that doesn't have corruption. And that is true. But when you have system that is designed to accommodate corruption, then it makes it even worse. It exacerbates the situation. So the cost that we can save in terms of corruptions and what we lose because of that is significant and will go towards some of the things that we are talking about, right? So be excited about the UIC as I am excited. Be excited about this real new Jamaica. Because let me tell you something, when you talk about tourism and Mr. Patterson's response is that you don't want just a product. You want the whole Jamaica to be the product. If the whole Jamaica is the product, a tourist product, then you can well imagine that we will be earning more because more people want to come to Jamaica. A friend of mine on Facebook said to me that one of the reasons properties are at the value that it is in Jamaica is because of the crime and violence, because he estimate that we will have so much people coming back to Jamaica. As a matter of fact, a lot of the diaspora and people will be coming back to Jamaica. So you can well imagine that if we create this Jamaica, which we can, and let me say this again, which we can. And as Mr. Patterson says, that we can't curse the Jamaican people to say that the people nasty and the people this. We're blaming the Jamaican people and make it look as if we are the worst. But we're not. The truth is, as a people by nature, like anybody else, if we're allowed to do as we want, we will do as we want. But then if we have systems and governance structures that will help us to be more civil, that teach us certain basic things, like don't litter this. I mean, even though you said that you should know, why you don't know that you mustn't litter the street? The fact of the matter is there's so many persons in Jamaica who think it is somebody's business to walk behind them and to take up the garbage that they litter. But if we create a Jamaica that we begin to remind people, just like how the government tell about wash your hand in COVID and all of those things, if we remind Jamaicans and lift the value of Jamaicans and lift the value, then Jamaicans will see the benefit of having a clean, orderly society. So Jamaicans, we can do it, and we need a little one money. We need $1,000, we need $100, we need $20. We need those contributions so that we can, some of us can come off 9 to 5 and probably become full-time so that we can focus on doing the things that the UIC needs us to do. Because let's face it, if you have a manager of an organization and he's not fully focused, he's not going to be able to do what he can do for the organization. So we need to, and that is why part of our plan and our financial plan is for us to get those funding in so that we can build out and we can become the organization that we really want and we're supposed to be. That's it, Mr. Patterson.
Oh, thank you so very much, Mrs. Paulette Mackenzie Williams. We're now up on 3 minutes to the end of the program, and we didn't get a chance to hear Reggie in full. I wanted to have more discourse with him. He had earlier points, some good points earlier. But let's say a big thank you to all for your participation, for your contribution tonight. I am personally impressed, and I am more motivated to continue. It's been a few years now, quite a challenge for me personally. But every time I come to a meeting like this and hear from you and feel the energy and spirit and the desire for this real new Jamaica, I am once again ready for the work. And so let's get ready for next week when we have our members meeting. I hope you sign up as members, get a member. Wherever you are in the world, doesn't matter. It don't say, well, I live this country or that country. What can I do? You can, first of all, become a member. You can donate. You can volunteer your time and your effort in any small way. Because if each of us do only 1% of the work, I'm sure we'll get 100% done. So thank you very much for participation. Thank you for your time. God bless you, and may God bless our wonderful Jamaica until we meet again. Take care.
Yes, good night, everyone, and have a
Good night, everyone.
great week. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Everyone, have a good week.
Okay. Have a good week,
All right,
guys.
take care.
Take
Yeah,
care.
good night, everyone. And I just
Arlan,
want to say this, that once anyone hears the UIC's message, I guarantee you they will come on board. I have no doubt in that. You know, and we're still here at the ground root, and we're pushing it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get it. We are
thank
gonna
you,
get it.
Marlon.
No problem.
All right.
Sure will. All right. Take it easy. Good night.
Good night.
Reggie, next time, eh? I want to stop that.
Yeah, man. Of
Respect.
course. Take care.
Thank you, Dr.
Respect y'all.
Jones. Everyone.
Okay
Thanks,
then.
everyone.
Kerr, as always, Dr. Kerr, wonderful comment, appreciate it. And I must tell you, my favorite tonight is Terrell. Thank you, Terrell, for joining us.
Yeah.
We want to see many, many more like you, young people coming along to helping old foot like myself to get something done here.
Mr. Patterson, you're a young,
It's a pleasure. As I said to someone earlier, it feels good to be something to be a part of something meaningful, where truth and the genuine care for humanity is concerned. So it is my pleasure.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you all.
Bless you all. Bye-bye.
I think we have it's going to shut off any minute now. Thanks again. See you next week Sunday.